Good afternoon, everybody. How are you guys doing? Good. I'm glad to be here. I love coming to these events because I love being with teachers. And it makes me feel just blessed to know that I'm in a room full of great educators. And because it takes me back to when I was a kid and makes me think about the education and all the educators I've had in my life. I want you guys to think back. Think about a teacher that you may have had at sometime in your life that was very important to you. I want you to think about that. Think about the qualities that you may have of that teacher. Now, one of the qualities that I've heard, and I've read this before, it's a quote that I've heard before, and it says, a good teacher, is like a candle. It consumes itself as they light the path for others. Now, that makes me think back, and it goes on to all of the qualities of a good teacher. So you think back and you go, all right, what are some good qualities of a teacher? Well, there's a lot of good qualities that I think of as a teacher. Selfless, loyal, knowledgeable. Those are all qualities that I think of as a good teacher. Which takes me back to the other thing. It goes, well, is there any time that there could be somebody other than an actual teacher that's an educator? And I say yes. The reason why is because I think about all of those traits, and I think about one person who is the most influential person to me in my life, and is the number one educator that I've had in my life. Please allow me to introduce you guys to my grandmother, Miss Dorothy May Adams. Dorothy May Adams, she was born in a little bitty small town, Camden, Arkansas, she would say. I'm from Arkansas, that's how she would say it. She was born in Camden, Arkansas. My grandmother she was a great human being, and I learned everything I could think of from her, all through her experiences and her wisdom. First of all, she moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, which was where I was born. She moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and while she was there, she had 3 children, okay? My Aunt Mildred, my mother who's in the middle, and my Uncle Buddy. She was forced to raise those 3 children by herself. And all of those experiences really always went to the core of my heart of who I am. So when I graduated college, I knew that I wanted to be a teacher. And I came home and I said, Granny, I'm going to be a teacher. And guess what I'm going to do? Everything that you've taught me, I'm going to teach these to my kids. And she said, boy, you go ahead and do that. That sounds good. Just, you're too close to me. She hated personal contact, right? You're too close. you get a boy, scoot over. My granny. I said, I got an idea, Granny. I'm going to call it the School of Granny. What's that mean? I said, Granny, let's call it the School of Granny. Because I'm going to teach the kids all of the lessons that you taught me. So, and that's exactly what I've been doing. So since I've been doing that, I've been trying to take those lessons that I've learned from my grandmother and implement those into my classroom to help empower my kids. So, would you guys like to go to School of Granny today? Okay, all right. So, there are 3 lessons for the School of Granny. The first lesson, lesson 1, work hard, even when the work is hard. My Uncle Buddy, the tall gentleman there, no, that's not Teddy Pendergrass. It's my Uncle Buddy. My Uncle Buddy told me a story. And it starts, he was around 10 years old, and my grandmother worked at a house. And that's all my uncle tells me that he said he knew. He knew Granny worked at a house. So she's going to take him to work, and she says, the lady at the house says that you come with me, you can get $5, and you can clean the windows. And he's up for it. He's 10 years old in 1962. Yeah, you take $5, right? So they hop on one bus, right? And then they transfer, they go to another bus, right? So they're transferring. They finally get to the house. So my uncle comes to the door. The lady comes outside, hands him $5. Go ahead, young man. Go ahead and get started on the windows. He gets started, but he notices my grandmother has to leave to start working. But he noticed that she goes around the house to the back door. And he said he thought about it, and it didn't really bother him at first. He's just kind of like, that's kind of odd, but whatever. So he's just doing his thing, shining his windows, right? Cleaning his windows. So he gets done, and he wants to find out where his mother was. So he's calling out, Mama, Mama, trying to find where Granny was, right? So he finally gets to the house, to the back door. He goes inside, even though he had been warned not to go inside. He goes inside. He's looking around, looking around, looking around. He can't find her. He walks to the bathroom. He looks down, and he sees his own mother on her hands and knees, scrubbing the floors, on her hands and knees. And it really shocked him. It kicked him in his chest, he said, because it was the first time that he had seen his own mother on her hands and knees, cleaning, 50 cents an hour. And he knew it just shocked him because he knew how much she was struggling, and it allowed him to see exactly what she was doing to raise those 3 kids. And my uncle tells the story. He said it was at that moment that he realized how much and how important hard work was to him. See, at that time, that second, Granny became my Uncle Buddy's candle. He realized that she was consuming herself so much that she had black spots on her knees and her elbows for years and years of cleaning the floors. She had consumed herself. Now, us as teachers, we can do the same thing. We can continue to make sure our kids work hard by watching us. If we model the correct way to work hard and dedicate ourselves, we too can also make sure that our kids are empowered and they become great individuals. Now, you guys might have your own stories. I know you do. You might have your own school of Granny. What's your story? I empower you guys to think about what your personal story is. What lessons have you personally learned that you can employ into your class? Did your grandmother teach you communication is key? Maybe. That will allow you to make sure you build positive relationships with your students, correct? Did your abuela, did she teach you the importance of being on time? Well, we teach our kids that. That's going to teach them excellent time management skills that are important for when they become adults. So, my call to action is this. I challenge you guys. Use those lessons you've learned at home. Put those lessons to work inside your classrooms. That way we can make sure that our kids are ready to go in the 21st century.